Good morning. I'd like to do another sperm morphology video looking at WHO nominated normal and abnormal sperm. This is a free function of FirtAid, which can be found at firtaid.com. You need to go to the FirtAid page again to IVFEQA and print this who. Before I do that, I just need to make the screen a little bigger. And okay. So then we need to go down to who. To do that, you just need to go past my sperm check. So which end is the pronuclear? What's this one? Submit. And what I've done is I've gone to the WHO manual and copied every sperm out that's in the manual and identified onto a database and labeled it normal or abnormal. And then I run a program just to test your skills. And basically it just randomly selects one of the 300 or 400 images and test, and you can nominate whether it's normal or abnormal. This isn't well important, but if you want to put your year's experience, I started in 1982. That's getting on a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is the form you'll see. Picture of a sperm. You ask, is it normal or abnormal? And then we'll just do a tally and see how you go. And I explained that I'm going to do 20 sperm, even though I know you should do 200. Now, this is available to anyone. You can do as many times as you like. It's free. And the aim of it is just to try and improve people's skill at trying to identify sperm according to the WHO manual. And I'd like to make a comment at the end about what I think of this manual. Okay, is this normal? Basically, the head looks normal, large acrosome, slightly off-center, but I think I'm going to say it's normal. And I'm wrong. WHO says it's normal. It's abnormal. I presume it's got to do with a asymmetric midpiece. So far, my tally is none out of one. Doing brilliant. I'll try again. Is this normal or abnormal? Now, clearly it's abnormal. So, and what you find when you do the manual is about 3/4 of the sperm are clearly abnormal. Even a child 5 could say it's abnormal. The real problem is there's some sperm which are clearly almost perfect in shape, but there's a whole swag in the middle which is just off perfect. And WHO manuals sometimes make these normal and sometimes marks them abnormal, and it's really hard to know. And in reality, you're only looking about a 4 or 5, 10% of the sample where the diagnosis can be equivocal. So at the moment, your estimate is 50%. We'll try again. Is this sperm normal or abnormal? Oh, clearly it's abnormal, thick mid-piece, cytoplasmic drops. So I'm correct. WHO says abnormal. I say it's normal, and I'm right. Hooray! Now this is more a difficult one. Got a slightly bit of a mid-piece, a symmetrical insertion, and a slightly small, but I'm going to say that's normal. And once again, the WHO says that's normal. Now, I've been doing sperm morphology since 1982. I've inspected labs, and when I wrote this, I was absolutely appalled at how bad I was. And if I'm bad, how poor are other people? This is why you need to be involved in ongoing EQA programs just to try and get your assessment as good as you can. Here's another one. This is clearly abnormal. Okay, agree. I'll try again. Okay, you have a few minutes to think about it, but clearly it's abnormal. Lots of vacuoles, tapered head. Oh, I'm getting better. 4 out of 6. Now, I think this to me looks fairly normal. A slightly tapered head, but still basically I think it's fairly normal. And once again, WHO said normal. So really, it doesn't like any form of tapering of the head. Try again. Is this one? Remember, this is abnormal. Try again. So do you think this is normal or abnormal? Well, I think it is abnormal. Try again. Clearly abnormal. Try again. Normal or abnormal? I think that to me looks fairly normal. I would call that normal. And you know what? I finally got one right. Hooray. Abnormal? Yes. Try again. Now, I think this looks fairly normal. It's got a slightly truncated posterior end, and a slightly thick midpill, but I'm going to call that normal. But WHO says it's abnormal. Remember, the WHO is based upon criteria set up by Megfeld, etc., where they looked at sperm in cytoplasmic mucus, and they said the shapes of the sperm in the mucus are by definition normal. There's another group that have looked at sperm down to the zona pellucida, and they kind of match up the WHO, but not quite the same. So I've done 13 now. We try again. I think that's normal. Yeah, I agree. Okay. No, I think that's normal. Yes, I agree. Okay, number 16. That's abnormal. I think that's abnormal, slightly tapered end. Yes. I think that's normal. Try again. Yep, I'm correct. And there's this one normal. I think it looks like a fairly normal head, but it's got a truncated and slightly atypical insertion of the mid piece and a slightly thickened mid piece. So I'm going to say it's abnormal. Yeah, getting better. And lastly, I think this is a normal head. Okay, so let's just go and look at what I've done. I've done 20 sperm, so this should be 200. Doesn't take you very long. And in fact, if you really wanted to, a really good thing you get your staff to do is every morning log on and do 200 sperm just to get their iron before they do their day's sperm morphology. And you could even just have a running sheet, an Excel spreadsheet where people put in this set of data every day just to track their performance and see how you go. It's an interesting exercise. So here we go. So in this case, my estimate of the normal forms is 45%, but the actual WHO data is 25%. So that's telling me that if I was correct with every sperm, I would have labeled this sample of 20 sperm as 25% normal forms. But I estimated it was 45%. So I'm overestimating normal forms. In other words, if I was doing sperm morphology, more people would be going to IVF than they possibly should have. So theoretically, I'm running the risk that maybe some people may have failed fertilization. So I had 5 out of 5 that were normal. My current tally, I got 5 out of 5 that were normal, which I said were normal, and 11 out of 15 that were abnormal, which I said were normal. And your current tally for a correct assessment was 16 out of 20. So I got 80% right. And this, I might just leave it there. I'm rather embarrassed. But you know what? I've been doing this for ages, and I'm still getting them wrong. So anyway, I think I'd like to stop there. And this is just to highlight, this is a tool that you can use for free, and you can visit Fertile at any time and do things just out of interest. And I don't want to stop and say thank you very much, and we'll call it quits.